The statement kicking a person when he's down may as well apply to the England men's test team at this point in time, because after they rather horribly lost the series against India 4-1, the hits have just continued to roll for them, and not in the way that they'd be enjoying it, because they have been met with criticism and ridicule across the board, whether it be by former players, whether it be by writers, whether it be by experts. Whoever it is has come up and had a not so nice thing to say about the Bazball era England. And the latest to join in on this chorus is, of course, Geoffrey Boycott. Now, Boycott, to be fair to him, has even in the past talked a lot about how fraught with dangers this style is, because when it comes off great, it looks spectacular, but when it doesn't, it makes the team look foolish. And that exactly is what he had to say when you're looking at his recent column with a daily newspaper over there called The Telegraph. Now, he does also go on to add that England were in some senses lucky. Why were they lucky? Well, he says that England were lucky that Virat Kohli was unavailable for all the series and KL Rahul only played one test. And that is in fact a damning indictment when you're looking at it, because India, even without two proven performers in the likes of Virat Kohli or KL Rahul, were still able to very easily beat this England side. One can only imagine just how big the margin might have been if you had a Kohli and Rahul fit and available throughout the series. So obviously England would have been a little bit confident that, okay, you don't have a Kohli, Rahul only played one test, but can you imagine how bad the scoreline would have looked? Of course, it may very well have been 4-1, but what would have been worse was the margin of defeat in all of the individual tests, because India managed to win pretty convincingly even without these two. One of the reasons for that, of course, is the fact that on more sporting pitches, England's inexperienced spinners were absolutely nullified, whereas India's experienced world beaters were able to still find plenty of purchase. And that exactly is another point that Boycott mentions. He says that inexperienced kids were never going to outbowl experienced Indian spinners in India. If anyone thought that, it was daft, wishful thinking. Daft, wishful thinking. It cannot get harsher than that when you're writing in a newspaper and saying that the kind of thought process followed by the coach and the captain was daft, wishful thinking. Now, to be fair to England, the ploy to bring in two inexperienced streakers might have worked if India were dishing out the kind of rank turners that they had been for the past 2-3 years. However, the switch back to sporting pitches pretty much ensured that the bowlers' skills came into play, and that is where India won out. An Ashwin, Jadeja, Kuldeep, even an Akshar Patel were far more skilled bowlers than the likes of Tom Hartley, Shoaib Bashir, and even a Rehan Ahmed. Skill really came into play here, and whilst England's spin bowlers might end up becoming better over time, here their inexperience at this level was vastly exposed because the Indian batters more often than not took them to the cleaners. But that isn't the only major talking point that he had here. One of the biggest criticisms he had was towards England's style itself, the Bazball style. He went out and once again criticized it the way Boycott himself has been known to criticize it. He says that that idea of Bazball is fraught with danger against quality spinners. Having a good defense is part of batting, and someone like Boycott would know a thing or two about having a good defense, given that he was someone who, even in the Halcyon days of Test cricket, was seen as a little too boring for, let's say he was not easy on the eye. He was dogged, he was determined, he could grit it out, but he was never an entertaining bat. Yet, it's hard not to disagree with the point he makes here. He's absolutely right when he says that only looking to play aggressive, attacking shots against, India's quality spinners was always going to be a recipe for disaster. In fact, as he points out, having a good defense is a part of batting, and something that sadly a lot of England's players didn't have, because they only looked to play one way, and that one way inevitably led to their downfall. Of course, there has been plenty of talk from the England camp, especially from Brendan McCullum himself, that they're going to look to maybe try and change that around just a little bit. But as of now, as I mentioned, the hits keep rolling, and England need to take their licks and maybe try and improve from this experience, because as is something that the likes of Boycott and many others have pointed out, Bazball as it is is not sustainable. But what are your thoughts on the entire matter? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side, it is goodbye.